Scott, we got some exciting news for those who are physical fans of discs and the alike when it comes to your gaming because, well, Phil Spencer claims getting rid of physical games isn't a strategic thing for Xbox. That's interesting. As Tom Ivan over VGC fills us in, Microsoft's head of gaming has claimed that getting rid of physical media isn't a strategic goal for Xbox, but its supports for disc-based games appears far from unwavering. The legal documents leaked last September potentially laid bare key elements of Microsoft's gaming strategy for years to come, including plans to launch an adorable all-digital Xbox Series X console, codenamed Brooklyn. While its plans may have changed according to the documents, the console was targeting a November 2024 launch and a price of $499 US. Scott, my guess right there. Xbox boss Phil Spencer wouldn't discuss the leaked console in a recent interview with GameFile, but he told the publication that Microsoft will, quote, follow what the customers are doing, end quote. Quote, we are supportive of physical media, but we don't have a need to drive that disproportionate to customer demand, end quote, he said. Quote, we ship games physically and digitally, and we're really following what the customers are doing, and I think our job is running Xbox is to deliver on the things that a majority of the customers want. And right now, the majority of our customers are buying games digitally. End quote. While most AAA games currently receive dual physical and digital releases, some are only available to download. High-profile examples include the latest October's Alan Wake 2 and Xbox's Hellblade 2, which will be released in May. Quote, gaming consoles themselves have kind of become the last consumer electronic device that has a drive, end quote. Spencer told GameFile, quote, and this is a real issue, just in terms of the number of manufacturers that are actually building drives and the costs associated with those, end quote. But, quote, but I will say our strategy does not hinge on people moving all digital, end quote. He added, quote, and getting rid of physical, that's not a strategic thing for us, end quote. During a business update last week, Xbox confirmed that the current Series X and S consoles will not be the company's last. Quote, there's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that's really going to share this, that we're going to share this holiday, end quote. Xbox President Sarah Bond said, quote, and we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will ever have seen in a hardware generation, end quote. Scott, we did mention that last week throughout the Daily Show. Very interesting comment by Sarah, to say the least. In a blog post accompanying the platform holder's business update, Xbox Communications Director Jeff Rubenstein wrote, quote, Xbox players should have confidence in building your digital library in the Xbox ecosystem. We will continue to reward that with the most robust player-friendly experiences, including backwards compatibility, cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression, convenient cloud gaming, and more, end quote. There are certain AAA games with 80% plus digital shares on Xbox these days. Daniel Ahmad, Director of Research and Insights at Nico Partners, claimed last month. Indicative of how next gen will be for sure. Scott, everything for me, dude, has been digital now for a very, very long time. But I know a good friend of the show, Brad, Northern Nerdcast, is a much beloved fan of the physical side, right? They like the collector stuff. I like the collector stuff too. This is all behind me. But when it comes to the disc, dude, I just don't want to get up to have to put a disc in anymore. I don't want to have to worry about storage shelf space and putting all my discs in a... Oh, man. Those days for me are gone.
Storage.
Remember those?
Storage shelf space. Storage space on a console is now the problem. But
well, yeah.
I agree with you mostly because we've moved on to digital, and myself included, probably since the end of the Xbox 360 era. But in those closing days of the generation and EB Games, I went and cleared out their whole selection because I like having physical media myself. But you have to look at, well, what I'm seeing in this and what Sarah Bond's saying and what Phil Spencer's saying is you have to look at the reality of the world around you. And most people, by the numbers, get digital. So that's, of course, what they're going to pivot to. Yeah. But when it comes to leaving something in the past, like a disk drive, will Brooklyn truly leave the past in the past? How does that work for backwards compatibility? Is that something that Xbox has done really well by providing a lot of things digitally, and you are supposed to be able to bring that forward through the Xbox ecosystem. But it's not the same as putting my 360 discs in that I had saved from EB Games.
But okay, so here's the thing: those EB Games, the GameStops of yesteryear, didn't make money on the new product. They wanted to sell you a used copy for the same price.
Yeah.
And then the developers get nothing from it. So the industry took hold of what was going on and basically tried to get rid of EB Games. Dude, I can't believe that store is still alive today, which is now GameStop here in Canada. But it's one of those moments of, no, we don't get anything from you reselling our game to other people, right? That's where they make all their money. But the game developers lose out. So what do? You switch to digital. You don't release anything physical. Alan Wake 2, Hellblade 2. Dude, the only way you can get that game is by downloading them, right? So you're moving away from that physical side of things. For the collectors, that sucks. I understand that, but for the majority of gamers these days, there's a simple download. The problem is, yeah, like you say, right, is the download space on your hard drive. You have to get an external or a proprietary Xbox card for your Xbox, a memory like drive that goes into your PlayStation. So it's just like, man, you have to get all these extras because, dude, I go to my PlayStation, I got a game on there right now, it's 150 gigs. My son has a game on there, 2K, it's 180 gigs. I'm like, man, I'm out of space, right? Like, it's just like that. Poof, you're done. You have 3-4 games on there, and that's about it. When you have a full digital library of multiple of games, whether that's, 20, 50, 100 games, but you can only put 3 or 4 on your console, that's the bigger problem for me moving forward. But there are solutions for that are out there. They're not the cheapest. PlayStation's cheaper than Xbox, which I like, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it's just like, man.
Well, this kind of speaks to the reality of, do we really own our video games anymore? If I can't resell it, if I can't just keep it in a shelf forever, how much do I really own it?
Remember the old PlayStation thing? You want to share a game, and Shuhei just gave Adam an actual game? Dude, you can't do that anymore, right? Like, I can't do that. That doesn't work. I can't just hand you my disc anymore. It's all digital, and it's more money in the pockets for the developer, more money in the pockets for the platform holder, and all that stuff. But yeah, the other side of it, like you say, we really just don't own the games anymore. Dude, if you don't have PT downloaded on your PS3, you don't have it, right? And there's no way to do that. But if you do have it, and then you currently have it, we've seen other games too. Spec Ops: The Line got delisted, right? Like we just talked about that. So there is this game preservation thing which now becomes a bit of a concern moving forward. But Xbox still going with the way of physical, but yet certain games aren't getting the physical copy, Scott. Like, it's just, that's an odd statement to say that we're not shying away from physical, but we're just going to pick and choose what is going physical and what is not. Interesting times ahead.
Sounds like Xbox is ready to make the move to all digital, but we're just not quite there yet.
Have been swapping between them. Like, what can we expect as players?
We definitely try to have these mechanics that are common amongst most weapons, but at the same time, try to give the space across all the different weapon types. So, if you're using the wand, there's a lot of homing going on there. There's a lot of it's magic damage. It's going through their, it's going through their armor and stuff like that.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Versus, again, using a melee weapon where you're gonna